It's a great pleasure to talk to Zac Cassels, sitting in the Cassels Brewery there in the wonderful city of Christchurch. How are you, Zac?
Good, thanks, Jason. Good to see you.
You too, mate. And like me, you're suffering a little with lockdown here by the looks of things, although the sideburns seem to be a little more tamed than usual.
Well, they still grow, even when we're all locked down. So, no, we're all good. It's been a nice little time, really, but obviously quite challenging with both of our brewery and our hospitality venues. But as with everything in business, it's all about sort of looking what's ahead and trying to work it all out and stay alive and obviously try and thrive a bit if possible.
That's it, Zac. And look, mate, it's been tough for all of us, mate, and especially for those who are producing and also have that hospitality side of their business. And I'm just crossing my fingers that you guys have come through this okay. I hope there haven't been redundancies or anything like that, which is, something that's been plaguing us for ages. Thankfully, thanks to the wage subsidy and stuff, we've managed to keep our staff on. But I've got this feeling, Zac, that it's the next 8 weeks that are going to be the real challenge around that. What do you think?
Yeah. Well, we've going into the lockdown, we had 67 staff, and we have had to. I think last time I looked, we've probably lost around about 10, maybe 12 of them. That's just based on. I mean, the wage subsidies help massively, but we just had to trim down things with our hospitality business mostly. I mean, right now I'm standing in our music venue, Blue Smoke. Cassels Blue Smoke, actually. So in addition to our brew pub and our brewery, we have a sizable functions business as well as a music venue. So those parts of our business have kind of vanished off the face of the earth at the moment. They will all come back. But, as with most things, no one really knows where or when or how much. So we have lost a few staff. We've tried hard not to. And we're still, we've clearly, as with everything, we have been well supported by Christchurch people, and the more well supported we are, the more staff we can retain and the better off Christchurch is, and the whole country for that matter. So,
well, let's be honest, that Christchurch hasn't had the greatest run of it for the past few years. There've been things that are way out of control, and this is kind of another one. Is you feel sometimes like, holy cow, give me a goddamn break? Let us breathe here for a minute.
Yeah, let's hope it makes you stronger, I mean, that's kind of, and I think we are quite, we're not, adversity is not unusual down here. And for our business, we kind of, in a way, were born out of adversity, to be honest. I mean, we did start a couple of years before the quake, but the earthquake in 2011 just completely changed our business, and we had to adapt and evolve and adjust, and we have probably benefited out of it, to be honest. So who knows? We'll see how we go, but we're not. Yeah, it isn't unusual, this sort of thing.
Well, look, the beer spotters know that Christchurch is a beautiful, resilient city, and hopefully once things relax a little bit, you'll get a lot of visitors down there, and we know that you guys are doing so well down there and are so well respected, and it's even difficult for us to get some of your beer these days because you've got your local hospo businesses and of course the other bars around town that want your beer as well. So, we're thrilled to have you as our Brew Buddy at Morningside, our new branch, which opened last November, which is doing great. And so that, that's the reason we're talking today. So let's park all that grim stuff and talk about your beers a bit, Zac, because they are absolutely outstanding. And for a place that's been around, you guys got serious in 2009, but I know that you guys have been sort of brewing as a collective since, the 80s. So, to finally go commercial and to do that big step to have that brewery, has it been a great ride so far?
It definitely has. We've been properly in the business about 10 years now, pretty close to 10 years. And I mean, how much has the scene changed in those 10 years? It's massive. I mean, the whole, this whole industry's evolved and exploded, and it continues to do so, and it's been a great ride. It has. We've got, I mean, I remember when we started out, I wandered the streets of Christchurch and found about 2 bars of the whole city that we could possibly sell kegs of our beer to. These days, you can't even count them. I mean, it's just, So craft's everywhere, and it's a wonderful thing. Obviously, the number of breweries has increased as well. But yeah, we're just evolving and growing all the time.
Look, I think you're absolutely right on both of those points, Zac. And you know us, we're here to build taps for the industry, and so one of the super exciting things about this year is we're going to open the last 2 branches of our 5-branch mission. We always wanted 200 taps in 2020, 5 branches in 5 years. So we're going to hit that this year, which is great. And just so you guys know, this will be the first year that we spend $1 million on beer. So we're like, it's like, holy cow. And so we're just praying and hoping that has some kind of an impact, because I know everyone's feeling pressured out there, and we're still stuck in this like 7% of beer drinkers, and we just need to push that just a little bit.
Yeah.
And it's going to be amazing for everyone. But let's talk about your core range, which is what we have mostly on at Morningside at the moment. So the lager is always just a great go-to. It's always really fresh and crisp and tasty. And there's a rumor that perhaps later on this year or next year, lager's going to be the big style, going to take over from hazies. What do you think?
Well, that'd be fine. I love hazies, but we don't make many of them. So lager, if lager came back, that would suit us great. We do. It is our best-selling beer in our own bar, and even wholesale. We do sell more kegs of lager than anything else. And I think part of that might just be the fact that, there's probably been a huge drift towards the mainstream of what we do and what in craft in general. We're sort of becoming, I sell beer now to working men's clubs and dirty old pubs you wouldn't have dreamed of 5 years ago. So it's sort of, and our lager is completely unoffensive. It's not, there's a perception that it's, all those perceptions are gradually eroding, I think, and that's not a bad thing. So yeah, if lager gets big, that's great.
Oh, look, I'm super happy about that, mate. And there are a couple of things that we did 5 years ago. One of the things is that we don't use the C word, and that doesn't mean COVID-19, by the way. and the other one was that our job is to bring mainstream beer drinkers over, and we are completely unapologetic about that. I think it's the only way we can grow our market. And so we need these beers, we need these lagers and pilsners to transition people over. And the more sort of mainstreamy they are, or the more approachable they are, the better it's going to be for everyone. But you've seen it yourself, mate. People will come in, they'll have a lager, follow up with a pilsner maybe, and then maybe 6 weeks down the track, they're onto a pale ale, And the first time they have that IPA is like, oh my God, But if we go from 0 to 100, if we go from a mainstream pilsner to an IPA, we've lost them. It's just too big a jump. So I think we have to really curate that opportunity, properly. So I really congratulate the brewers who do that core range, which is so important. But it must be a struggle too. So, I'm not a brewer. I understand the process and stuff, but when you're busting out those core range beers all day, every day, does it get like same-o? And I know you guys do seasonals and specialties and things like that, which must relieve a bit of the pressure, but that day-to-day core requirement, does that sort of become a bit of a grind sometimes?
Yes and no. It's sort of, in many ways, it suits us. We've just recently, we had planned to get our one-offs a bit more, we've always done one-offs, but we've basically got our wood-fired kettle and our brew pub up and running again in the last few months. So we do have some one-offs coming out of there. Obviously, everything's been a bit interrupted, and we, for example, our fresh hop, we knocked that on the head because we just thought, is it a good time to have hundreds of fresh hop kegs you're trying to sell? Well, maybe not.
Well, just also bumping in there, do you think fresh hop has had its day?
Hard to say. Maybe. I don't know. Good question. It's a bit of fun. I think it's, hard to say. It's, I'm probably a bit out of the loop lately. I haven't been hitting the streets selling beer in the right spots to have the latest information. But tough call. We'll see.
Mate, it's a tough call for us because some of them are absolute bangers and some of them are like, oh, hang on a minute. And
Yeah.
you know, you don't get the opportunity to sort of try things before you get on the tap. And if we're going to do something, we like to sort of commit to it. So I think we did 22 fresh hops last year. I think we might do 12 this year.
Yeah. I mean, it's a tough. It's hard. You know, we've had plenty of years where we've. It's just so hard to. It's such an unpredictable beer. You try and do something and you end up with something completely different, and that makes it hard. And especially when you're engaging in festivals or trying to, you know, do a certain thing for your punters, and it ends up being something else. It's quite. But that's in a sense, that's what it is. It's just that it's a surprising type of beer to make, and you can't. Our brewers, I mean, our head brewer Simon Bretherton, he doesn't really like them because it is so unpredictable. He doesn't like doing it, and I can see his reasoning. But I personally think it's a bit of fun. So we'll see.
Well, it's important to have fun, Zach. Jeez.
Yes, it is.
So, mate, just quickly about the your wood-fired kettle there. But is that a tricky bit of kit to use? If you wouldn't mind just giving us a quick sort of elevator pitch about what that's all about.
Well, it's what we started with. We started tiny and we wanted to be sustainable, which was easier when you're tiny. But we also, I suppose, it's also, I mean, it is hard to brew with it. It's hard to control the heat. We've since added gas to the wood-fired kettle. It does fit really well with our brew pub, like it's right there behind our bar and our brew pub. So it's when we're brewing on a day in there, it's a nice feeling. It's warm. There's some guy with a fire making beer. It's lovely. So it's got all that about it. But that's just where we started from. And we were at the time, I think we were like, there was only about one other wood-fired brewery in the world. We pretty much learned soon after that there's a reason why there's only one other wood-fired brewery in the world. If you're on a big commercial brewery bottling beer and sending kegs and bottles around the world, you need to have big modern equipment. So we kind of evolved into that now, but we still love our wood-fired kettle, and we've got a couple of our brewers know how to use it, and they do use it. And it now suits us really well for the smaller one-off brews. Where brews about 500 or 600 litres, so you can't, you know, that's the manageable quantity of anything for us. We can sort of hustle through that amount. Yeah.
Nice, that's great. And Buddy, just carrying on with the core range there, the Pilsner, which has always got to be a favourite. That's got to be your second best seller to the lager, probably?
Maybe. Let's see. Probably lager bestseller. Maybe. Probably the APA is right up there. You know, it's an APA. Well, actually, so is Milk Stout, of course. Yeah, probably lagers. And kegs, lager will be the bestseller. Number 2, roundabout. Milk Stout, APA. Then we got the Pilsner, the Pale Ale. We've recently changed the Pale Ale to something called Woolston Pale Ale, because we're from Woolston. We've just toned it down a little bit, both strength-wise and hops-wise. It's maybe a little lighter and fruitier than it used to be. And then we've got Red IPA. So that's a big, grunty, strong thing, which does pretty well, but isn't, you know, it's just hanging in there with the rest of them, really.
Like Red IPA is a style. It's been difficult, I think, for people to get their head around it. And like even in the, 4 and a bit years we've been trading at Northcote, Red IPA is always associated with that other red beer. And, just because it's got red in the name of it, it's like, come on, mates, take a punt. But that is, particularly yours, is super robust. It's like almost a beautiful ruby red in the glass. And, it hits all the marks in terms of flavour and style for that particular type of beer. And you guys obviously persist with it because it must sell.
We do persist with it. It does sell. It's always a challenge for a brewery trying to work out. We only make, what do we make? About maybe six carbonated beers in our core range. So you've always got to try and make sure you've got the best ones or the right styles. To be fair, Red IPA, yeah, I mean, it's a great beer. I love it. It probably isn't performing. It's not really performing that well. So we're always looking, we're always evolving. It may turn into possibly we could look at replacing that with a West Coast IPA or just a standard IPA because we don't actually have an IPA.
I'd keep it, and if I'd keep it if I was you. And if there are folks out there who aren't familiar with that style or sort of like to settle on a pale ale or an IPA, have a go at the Cassels Red because it is really something else. But of course, the jewel in the crown, Zach, and this must have been so exciting last year, buddy, was the milk stout. I mean, World Beer of the Year in that category. That, you know, at a legit international beer awards, man. You know, 50 countries in London town. Go Kiwi. Amazing.
Yeah, it was wonderful. Actually, I've got some right here. I'm just going to, you've reminded me, I poured myself a half before the interview.
Look at it. It's just beautiful.
This is on nitro, and we're doing, we're getting quite a few nitro taps installed around Christchurch now and a little bit beyond. Obviously, that's what Guinness do, and it's a wonderful, just a wonderful offering. So it's going quite well. But yeah, winning that award was huge for us. It really was. It was really, really helped. I mean, it's like a dream come true. You sort of, it literally is. Way our sales were, you know, up and up and up. Like for 12 weeks after that, we kind of, sales were continually outstripping what we had predicted. And just get my phone. And it was a wonderful thing. It's kind of what you, it's those things that really lift you up, and you really need those things. I mean, we're sort of, you know, we're putting a lot of effort in. We've got, you know, a lot of sales staff around the whole country into the supermarkets and into the bars, and it's all a big struggle. But then these things happen, and you kind of, and then it's like, wow, this fits, you know, this is good. Yeah, so it was a wonderful feeling, and it really did help us.
Back, buddy. It's nice to get a pat on the back, and you guys deserve that. It is. It was such exciting news. And actually, it was great for New Zealand brewers in general last year. I mean, at the AIBA's Australian Independent Brewers Awards, you know, one of our big commercial breweries took out, you know, a large commercial brewery. Deep Creek took medium sized brewery, and the Clouds took small. So it was a clean sweep for New Zealand there, which was just like, oh my God, that's amazing. But to have that sort of cherry on the top with you guys at the World Beer Awards, just sensational, mate. Well done.
It was fantastic. I mean, I think, you know, we are, and I'm talking about New Zealand beer industry, we're actually really good at beer. I mean, you will know this. It's something we're really good at, but like rugby.
Yeah, we do it well, mate. I always, when we have international visitors, I talk to them about New World beer, not the supermarket, you know, just as sort of a style in our approach. And my goal, one of my goals in the past sort of 5 years is to get our brewing industry as recognized as our wine industry is, but for all of the same reasons our wine industry is. Our incredible, talented brewers, our incredible terroir, our hops, our malts, our water quality. But you know, that needs a brewer to bring that all together and make it sensational and award-winning. So, you know, kudos to you guys for getting that gong. And is that enough? Are you going to enter again, or?
Well, we probably will. I mean, they're not. I think the awards have been cancelled this year, which I guess in a way maybe that suits us because we can still say.
That just means you're reigning champion, buddy.
Yes, that's right. For a while longer. Yeah, we'll keep entering awards. I think an award of this scale does last. People do, you know. I get the impression it's the kind of thing that'll hang around us for a while, hopefully a long while. So yeah, but we'll keep entering awards and hoping for the best. I mean, awards are tricky things. It's not hard to be disappointed sometimes, you know. So there's an element of surprise or luck, or you just, sometimes good things happen when you're not expecting them, and sometimes the reverse is true. But you've just got to, when a good thing happens, you've got to hold on to it and ride with it as best you can.
Totally, buddy. Look, I'm in sort of two minds about awards. I had the opportunity to go to Brewers Guild Awards a couple of years ago, and quickly realised as a retailer that I shouldn't really be here. And just to sort of walk around the room and see dejected faces, you know, just guys put so much effort in and thought maybe this is my year. And, you know, I wanted to go to those guys and say, look, your beer's amazing. Otherwise people wouldn't buy it, for a start. And secondly, it just isn't your night. And awards are so subjective, and, you know, you've just got to keep going, man. And the real reward should be your bottom line, should be your sales each month, should be people telling you how much they love it. You know, that's the real award, I hope, for most people. And but yeah, man, that can be tough. That can be hard yards. So anyway, just before we go, Zac, because you're a business owner, you've got things to do, buddy. The name change, you dropped the ENZEE Sons. What was that all about?
That was just we did a rebrand last year. It would have kind of rolled out during the winter last year. And it was just a big old rebrand. Basically, it was a whole new sort of, mostly obviously in packaged beer and supermarkets is where it mattered or what we focused on. So we dropped the ENZEE Sons. I guess it's just a shorter name, maybe easier to say. I suppose it's a bit less traditional, a bit more modern, open. All people are welcome here. It doesn't have to be males. But the big picture was it was just really good for us. The rebrand, we were pushing shit uphill with our old style of branding. We're putting a lot of effort into grocery and weren't really getting, it wasn't measuring up. The amount of effort we were putting into our sales just were tough going. And then we took on the guys down here's strategy, and they completely changed the brand. We had a lot of great artwork, of course, as a base from my artist friend Scott Jackson, but it just worked. So basically, our grocery sales kind of started coming right or lifting based entirely on the rebrand. And so at first I was a bit, It's a hard thing to do, a rebrand. Ask any brewer. It's a lot of effort, a lot of pain and suffering because you're trying to work out what works, and it's not easy. But
it's a very emotional thing too, Zac. It's it's giving up a bit of history, isn't it, mate? And to try and advance, and that can be difficult to sort of separate from those feelings, mate. I totally get it.
Yeah. Before we go, I'd like to show you a T-shirt I bought while I was in Auckland a few years ago selling beer. Never mind this one.
Oh, geez. Oh, nice. Oh,
well done, you guys, for doing that, by the way. If you're spending 1 million litres on beer a year, you are supporting the industry, and, thanks a lot for everything you've done.
Oh, bro, I've got to tell you, it's just been an absolute pleasure, mate. Lawrence and I absolutely love this business, and we're supported by a great team of staff, and, reps and brewers are just, they get it, and it's so lovely. The experience we've had, even over the last 8 weeks, mate, the phone was ringing off the hook with just people going, "How are you, man? Are you okay?" Well, and that was just like so nice. And it just shows that it's more than a glass of beer together. This is something super special, this industry, and we want everyone to do well with it. And you guys just keep making great beer. We'll keep buying it and putting it on people's mouth bits. That's the guts.
Yeah, well, you're in the right part of the world to fly the flag and lead the charge for good beer.
Let's do it, buddy. It's great. Now, I hope you're back up in the big smoke soon.
I hope so too. I'm not sure when, but as soon as possible.
Good, mate. It'll be great to see you. Look, please just tell our viewers where your locations are, your hospitality locations, and just your sort of hours and things at the moment, so people can get along there and try that red IPA.
Sure. So we're our main bar is just about 20 metres that way. It's called The Brewery at the Tannery. So Woolston, Christchurch. Google us. Hopefully we're not too hard to find on Google. And that's about it at the moment. The bar I'm in now, Cassels Blue Smoke, is out of action for a while, but we have a bit of overflow into here because we get quite busy next door and everything's more spaced out. So we actually do use this space for diners. But just come to the Tannery down in Christchurch. You can't really miss us. Awesome,
Zac. Buddy, I really appreciate your time, and here we go. Hopefully the worst is behind us, mate, and we can all forge on, and look at some, green fields and blue skies and stuff, and remember what the fun times were like. But thank you very much, mate, and I really appreciate your time, and thank you for being our brew buddy at Morningside, 596 New North Road in Morningside there. And unfortunately, because of this lockdown stuff, we've got you as brew buddy for the rest of the month, which isn't too long, but it's been received really well, buddy. And so thank you again for your support too. And go well, mate, and all the best to the team down there, bud.
Thanks, Jason. Wonderful. Thanks a lot.